Everybody, it's Chris from the Evermore YouTube channel, back with the 8th edition of your morning Magpie. Just a quick news roundup show talking about what's in the headlines for Newcastle United news this coming week and what we'll be discussing on this week's podcasts. And pretty much all the news is about how mint we are and how unbelievable Newcastle United have become. So let's get stuck into this then. First section is basically the 5-star Mags scoring for fun. So we smashed Brentford at the weekend, 5-1, unbelievable performance by the lads, absolutely dominant, wonder goals, brilliant play, world-class crossing, brilliant defending, you name it, we covered it. And that is 9 goals Newcastle United have scored in the last 2 games. I think you'd have to go back to the 90s to remember that from last time. So we'll be discussing that this week on the 2 shows. What's going on tonight at 10 o'clock with me and Mark, and Wednesday with the lads on Evermore at 7 p.m. So make sure you check that out. We've got so much to talk about. It's just a great time to be a Newcastle fan right now. So, really looking forward to getting stuck into that. And one of the biggest reasons we won that game at the weekend was our midfield dynamite, Bruno Guimaraes, back to his best. Unbelievable. I've got some stats here to cover. We will get stuck into this more on Evermore on Wednesday, I'm sure. But so this was Bruno at the weekend. 78 minutes, 100% take-on successes, 100% shot accuracy, 7 duels won, 7 passes into the final third, 6 possession won, 5 passes into the opposition's box, 4 tackles made, 2 chances created, 2 shots and 2 goals. I mean, that is just absolutely phenomenal. We've got some really good players in our squad at the minute, and it's really exciting to be a Newcastle fan right now. But I don't think there's anyone who could get into possibly a Liverpool or a City side right now over Bruno Guimaraes. He's just such a good player. He was obviously not fit against Bournemouth, and you could see that. He's back to sharpness now. He's back to fitness, and he's just absolutely incredible. That shock blonde hair looks like a Super Saiyan or something. He's absolutely fucking amazing. So I'm so glad that he's a Newcastle player, and I'm sure we'll be salivating over him in the coming episodes this week. So make sure you check that out, guys. On me, Edson, he did give some credit actually to Eddie Howe as well, which drew a bit of a chuckle from the gaffer. So Bruno said that Eddie Howe had pulled him to one side and said he watched his DVD and he never scored a goal with his head. He's never scored a goal with his head before until he came with Newcastle, and now he's got 2 goals with his head, and they're both absolutely brilliant headers. That diving header against Leicester, I was there for that. It was unbelievable. The scenes, my God. And then obviously that one of the weekend as well was a fantastic header from an unbelievable cross by Trippier, which we'll get onto a bit more in a second. Well, let's get into it now. So the argument rages on. It seems to rage on every single week, really. The Trips versus Trent argument for England. Now, let's call a spade here. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a fantastic player, but he cannot defend to save his life. He's shocking at it. He's very good at going forward, there's no doubt about that, but he's a terrible defender. I've heard loads of people talk about how he should possibly be a midfielder. Kieran Trippier is a brilliant right back, an absolutely fantastic right back, defensively and offensively. He's got a wand of a right foot, as I think Mika Richards said on Match of the Day. That cross he put in for Bruno's header was absolutely fantastic. First time cross. Miggy fizzed the ball back at him. He still managed to deliver it with such quality to the back stick. And he's just, everything that Trippier does just oozes class, throughout this whole game, on the pitch, off the pitch. He speaks really well. He's a manager in training. There's no doubt about that, but he's a fantastic footballer. He is going to go to the World Cup. There's no question about that. Whether he plays right back or left back for England, he is probably going to play more games than he doesn't, because he's just a very, very good footballer. He can defend and he can attack. So what can we say? We love the man. I just wish he was 28, but even though he's 30 odd, I think he could probably still play for a couple of seasons as well, because he's that mint. So we love Trips, and at the minute for me, Trips over Trent all day long. Unless you move Trent in the midfield, then obviously somebody has to make way, but I'm sure we'll have that debate as the World Cup gets a bit closer. So there was something else that happened which made me laugh as well. So on Twitter, there was some salty Mackem tweets going around on Twitter, with one of their flag displays. And I'll tell you what prompted this in a minute. But yeah, they decided to throw out the old tagline of, was it nobody was killed with this, the making of this flag, and no sports washing, just fans celebrating a great club, So it's really hard to see them from being 5th in the Premier League, but they are down there. They're right down there somewhere, a little annoying speck, a bit like a wasp at a picnic. It's there. You can occasionally hear a little buzzing noise, and just reminds you of how irritating that they really are. But yes, salty tweets indeed through tinted eyes of green for the Mackems, because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have complained if the PIF had decided to buy that piece of shite. So the reason it was kind of enraged probably for the Mackems deciding to tweet that. It's not all of them, it must be said. I do know some Mackems as well. They're good lads, to be fair. But yeah, the reason it probably wound them up even more is that War Flags yet again smashed it out of the park, smashed it out of St James's Park to be exact. So it was a year on from the takeover, an absolutely incredible display at St James's Park. Huge big flag. I think it was over the Gallagher end. Absolutely superb. Rising up through the crowd. We're going to talk about it. We've got some great videos. Mark's going to do his thing and edit some intros for the coming episodes this week. And then we'll have plenty of pictures as well to talk about it on what's going on and on Evermore. I'm sure the lads who are at the game sampling that atmosphere. But it was a brilliant flag, a brilliant display. We'd expect nothing less from War Flags. The players, know about it. The manager's spoken about it. Dan Byrne waxed lyrically about it as well. And it's just absolutely fantastic. And it's becoming a vital part of the club, really. I think the atmosphere, and Dan Byrne actually said it himself, while he was getting interviewed, just to finish up the segment. Skipper Byrne, at the time, he was wearing the captain's armband, and he made a comment on the flags. He said, I think in the Bournemouth game with the flags not being there, the players miss that kind of buzz, because it does create that cauldron of atmosphere. And I've been there, I've sampled it. I'm sure you guys watching it have sampled it. It's electric. There's something just special about it. It's a bit like the kind of yellow wall at Dortmund. Without that being there, it does take away from the team. I think War Flags has become that important to the club. Without them there, that the players, maybe don't quite feel in the same frame of mind to play the game. But it's important to say on the Salty Mackem tiers that War Flags don't want any money from the club. So whatever sports washing or Saudi Arabian investment you're trying to associate with them, you maybe need to do your research, because War Flags are self-funded. They're a great group of people. We've had Thomas on the show before, and I think the Mackems are seriously getting their wires crossed, or certainly that one is as well. I'm just surprised you could actually type that many letters, but never mind. Moving on to Skipper Byrne. So the big Dan Byrne himself was a skipper from the 80th minute onwards. Dream come true for a man buzzing from. I think every Newcastle fan, everyone from this area who's grown up in this area is buzzing for him. You could see how proud he was. And I love some of the crack he came out with as well. He said he played for Brentford in the first half. Just admit that he had a bit of a shitter. But then obviously when he was interviewed and, asked about the armband, he said he wasn't planning on taking it off. So I think that's absolutely incredible for the big lad from Blythe. I'm sure his family were massively proud, and everybody associated with his career development, and even his mates, back in Blythe as well. I'm sure they're absolutely buzzing to see, BDB with that captain's armband. I don't think it'll be the last time as well. I think we will see him wearing it again, possibly in the cup. Maybe he'll get a run out as captain as well. But great to see. He bleeds black and white, and I love that about Dan Byrne. So absolutely superb. So that's just a quick roundup there, guys. So we're going to cover this, obviously, on the two shows. We'll be live with what's going on tonight at 10 o'clock with me and Mark. And then Wednesday, we'll be back with the lads for Evermore at 7, where we'll chew through all the fat of the game. And we'll be talking about some of the topics as well that are raging through in the fan base, and certainly in our chats as well. But if you like what we do, please remember to click that like and subscribe button. We've had loads more subscribers pop up recently, certainly after we did our great video with Keith Downey, so we really appreciate that. We're about 1876, I think, so we're so close to that 1900. Would love you to get us there. We are younger than the takeover, as we say, and we're so close to that 2,000 milestone. But smash that button, come and join us. If you want to follow us on the socials, we're up there as my finger does Marty McFlies and disappears. So it's evermore_NUFC on Twitter and evermore_NUFC on Instagram as well. So give us a follow, give us a like and subscribe. This is Chris signing off. Let's keep supporting the team of United. And wherever you are, have a great morning, Magpies. We'll see you later.